We've been dating for a bit, and I've traveled across the country back home to spend the holidays with family while she stayed back where we live. I asked her tonight what she was doing for New Year's tonight, and she said she's going to a friend's house to hang out. Cool. Whatever. Few hours later I called her, and she said she had to get ready because someone was coming to pick her up. I ask who it is, and she says it's Tony, who has been her friend with benefits for the last 6 months and recently apparently stopped seeing each other. She did not mention this to me earlier. I then said, "Oh, I didn't know he was going to be there." And then she acted surprised and said, "I didn't know that would bother you." I just got off the phone with her as she was getting into Tony's car. She told me that we could talk later. She also told me she was going to get drunk tonight, and she said earlier today that she's a feely drunk and likes hugs, kisses, and affection. Am I crazy for feeling bothered by this? It kind of ruined my night, and it just hurt that she wasn't even going to tell me he was going to be there until I asked. I feel like I trust her, but at the same time, I feel betrayed. Update 1 was 1 week later. Well, I did it. After leaving her house this morning, she was still asleep, so I drove home crying to myself over this girl that obviously doesn't like me or care about me as much as I do for her. I then started to get really angry at this entire situation. I felt betrayed, confused, manipulated. It was like she was trying to make me feel like I was in the wrong for feeling uncomfortable or bothered. So when I got home, I just did nothing. She eventually texted me, "Hey," a couple hours later. I didn't respond until 3 hours later with "hello." She left me to read for an hour, so at that point I said, "Damn it, might as well get this over with." I sent her this. Name, "I have enjoyed getting to know you, but I really don't see this going anywhere. I wish you the best, take care." She immediately read it and responded with, "Sorry about all of this." 10 minutes later, she texts, "Did I do something wrong last night?" 1 hour later, she just said, "Hello?" I didn't respond to any of them. I'll be honest, I've been crying a lot today. I just feel so alone and hopeless now. We had gotten to know each other so well, and now I feel like so much time just got thrown away. I don't know if I have the energy to start looking at dating again, especially with online dating being how it is. It's really exhausting. Thank you for everyone who commented on my previous posts. It honestly helped me a ton, and even though I'm sad, it feels like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. Thank you. At this point, Original Poster eventually does get back together with her against everyone's advice. This results in Original Poster making several posts up until the recent update. So we're going to see post 1. She cheated, I dumped her. Why do I want to talk to her? So this girl I've been dating for the last 4 months, well, she's all I've been thinking about every day for the last 4 months. I really did think I loved her. But last week, I walked in on her and her ex at her house when she told me she was doing homework. I, of course, broke up with her that night. Since then, she's written me letters, texted me, called me. She even came to my house one night and read a letter to me in person while she cried. I had to just listen and tell her that I can't come back to her. I've ignored all the texts and calls. But something in me tells me I'm being mean. I've never hurt her, never lied to her. I've only ever wanted to take care of her and make her happy and safe. It's so hard for me to not reach out. I know deep down that she probably doesn't care. Even before, when she was with me, she'd just be texting her exes behind my back and lying about it. I'd catch her and eventually forgive her. She'd promise me the world. We talked about marriage and kids, moving in together, everything. But I know she's just a liar. You can check my post history if you want to read more about her. How do I tell myself to leave her alone? I feel like the next time she calls, I'm going to give in and answer. I've blocked her on all social media, but not her number. It just feels wrong. I don't want to leave her, but I can't be with her. Post 2. My girlfriend won't change her shampoo even though I'm allergic to it. We've been dating for about 6 months now. When we first started dating, things were okay, but a couple months in, every time we would sleep over at each other's place, my face would break out in a crazy rash, my eyes would get super swollen and gunky, and I just looked and felt terrible. She seemed slightly concerned at first. I told her that the only thing that has made this happen to me before is an ingredient in a lot of soaps and shampoos that I'm allergic to. We looked through everything we own and use together and didn't find it in anything except her shampoo. I told her that's probably what was causing it, since her hair would be near on my face when we slept together. I asked her if she could possibly get new shampoo, and she said no. I asked her why not. She said that she really likes the way that shampoo feels and that she spent $100 on it. They're pretty big bottles. I told her I could give her some money to get new shampoo, and she said no, she's not changing it. This conversation was 2 months ago. I try to bring it up every couple weeks because my eyes and face have been red and swollen for months, but she kind of just laughs it off or changes the subject. It bugs me too because she always mentions, "Oh my God, your eyes look so bad, babe." And I'm just like, yeah, and we both know why. It's literally your soap. I'm kind of at a loss. I understand that she likes the shampoo, but it's physically affecting me negatively, and I'm getting kind of sick of people at work asking if I got beat up in a fight, lol. Is there something I could do or say to her to make her change her mind? Am I asking too much of her? I kind of feel like I'm going crazy. Post 3. My girlfriend of 6 months who cheated on me wants me to move in with her. So long story short, me and my girlfriend have had a very rocky relationship. We've only been dating around 6 months total, and we've had many fights and breakups in that time. The most recent time was because I walked in on her and her ex at her house when she told me she was just doing homework. We got back together a couple weeks ago after a lot of long talks, and things have been going pretty steady for once. We haven't had any fights, and she's actually being nice to me, which is different from before. However, my lease for the apartment I rent is about to be over, and she asked me to move in with her. She owns a 3-bed, 3-bath house. I at first declined politely because I value my privacy and personal space a lot, and I worried that if I moved in with her, I'd never have time to myself. But she explained to me all the money I'd be saving because I'd just pay her a flat rate every month, and how if I want to move out in a few months, nothing would be stopping me. At first, I said I would just have to think about it, but now I'm actually considering it. Money is kind of tight right now, and my rent is going to increase by over $100 if I renew the lease. I don't really have the time to find a new place to live because of some work situations going on right now at my job. All of this makes her offer much more intriguing. However, when I ask my coworkers, they tell me it's a terrible idea and that I should stay away from her. They worry that she's just going to manipulate me if I live with her and that I'll be stuck. I asked my girlfriend what would happen if I declined, and she jokingly said she'd break up with me, but I know for a fact she'd be upset. One more thing, her house is pretty dirty. She lives there alone with her dogs, and there is just dirt and dust everywhere, clothes and trash in the floors, moldy dishes in the sink. I've went over there to help her clean a few times, but it always ends up bad again. She told me that she would clean up if I moved in, but I don't know how long it would last. Am I crazy for considering moving in with her? The amount of money I would save every month is insane. I'm just worried about the strain it would put on our relationship. We've only known each other for 6 months, so it seems kind of soon to move in with another, but I'm worried about the fallout if I decline her offer and renew my lease. Post 4. My girlfriend is upset that I'm bothered that she's moving in with her ex. Me and her have been through a lot in the short 6 months we've been together. We've broken up a few times and gotten back together a lot. The most recent breakup was because I walked in on her and her ex, Tanya, at her house when she had told me that she was just doing homework. After all that, I talked things through with her, and we ended up back together. Honestly, the past few weeks have been really good between us. She's been more attentive and loving towards me, listened to me more. We've been on a lot of nice dates. Recently, she asked me if I could move in with her, check my post history for the full story, and I basically declined. Well, just this week, it turns out that her mortgage increased by a few $100s, and now she's been stressing about finding a new place to live. She asked me to break my lease and move in with her, but I told her I couldn't because of how expensive it would be to break. She then told me that she was going to ask someone else if she could move in with them. I said, sure, go for it. Well, today I got home from work and called her. I ask her how she's doing, and she says she's been stressed about everything, which is understandable. I asked what she did today. She tells me that she went to lunch with Tony, her ex, to talk about moving in with him since he has a room. After she tells me this, I kind of go quiet and tell her I need a few minutes, then hang up. My head was kind of spinning. It just felt like I was going to be sick. I called her back and asked her if she saw anything wrong with what she did, and she said no. We talked about this last night. I told you I was going to ask someone else. And I didn't really know what to say. She said that she couldn't believe that I was upset with her because she did nothing wrong. She then told me, okay, fine, I can't take this anymore. You always make me feel like I did something wrong, and I can't handle it right now. Goodbye. And then she hung up the phone. About an hour later, she texted me, sorry I upset you, but I can't deal with you right now on top of my living situation. Have a nice life. I haven't responded to it, but I really am trying to think of what to say. Should I even respond? Am I being unreasonable for being bothered by what she did? I feel like I'm going crazy. Post 5. My girlfriend of 7 months still misses her ex, deletes texts to about him. What should I do? Hello Reddit. I'm really looking for advice as I feel like I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place currently. I love this girl. We've been through a lot of ups and downs together and broken up 5 times since being together, but I love her and she says she loves me too. Most of our breakups and fights have been around her ex, Tony. A couple months ago, I walked in on her and Tony at her house when she had told me she was just doing homework alone. Of course, I broke up with her then on the spot. We eventually made amends and got back together. I set the ground rules, boundaries, that if she is ever alone with him or talking to him again, I would leave her. She agreed and begged for me to take her back, so I did, because like I said, I love her. Fast forward to a few weeks ago. I was at work and she was off that day. I checked my phone to see if she had texted me because it was pretty late in the morning and she usually sends me something early. She had spent the night at my house that night, and so I checked her location. We have each other's locations to make sure she made it home okay. I see that she turned her location off. Truthfully, my heart sank. I went outside to call her, but she didn't answer. I called 3 more times, no answer. At this point, I was getting paranoid, but I went back inside to cool down. After a while, I went back out to call her. She finally picked up. I asked her where she was, and she said, "Why, what do you mean?" in a whispering voice. I told her that her location was turned off, so I was wondering where you were at. She whispers, "What are you accusing me of?" And I told her nothing. I just wanted to know where she was. She then walks outside. I can hear a door shut and blows up on me, saying that I'm always accusing her of cheating and how she didn't do anything wrong and that we were done. She then told me to have a nice life and then hung up the phone. That wasn't a fun day, but we made up later that week and got back together. I have no idea where she was, but I had to hope she was just at home and I was being an ass. So fast forward to last week. I had just got home from work and she asked me to come over to her house. I told her sure and headed over. When I got there, she was taking a shower and her phone was on the kitchen counter. Honestly, my curiosity got the best of me, and as wrong as it was, I looked through it. I saw deleted screenshots of texts she sent to her ex Tony, asking if he wanted to hang out. I saw deleted screenshots of messages she sent to her friends with pictures of Tony Cow, asking them about their thoughts on him. And then I saw a conversation between her friend, which she hadn't deleted. They asked her how she was doing, and she said, "Okay, I guess. Me and my name are doing okay for now, and I don't know where I'm at with Tony. I stopped talking to him because he stopped responding. I guess I just wish he felt the same way about me as I do about him." The friend asked her what she'd do if Tony wanted to take her back. She said, "Honestly, I don't know. I don't think I'd leave my name because I wouldn't want to hurt him, but I'm just sad because I miss Tony every day." My girlfriend then got out of the shower. I put down her phone, and she had no idea what I'd just seen. I spent the rest of the evening with her feeling like I was going to be sick. It's been 4 days and I still don't know what to do. She told me recently that she loves me and thinks we should get married, but how do I take that when she's still obsessing over her ex behind my back? Could it be that everything she says to me all lies? Is it just me being controlling? She never really apologized for anything she's done, which makes me think she has no remorse. She also told me that she thinks she may have borderline personality disorder. So I've been trying to do research into it, and it sounds like she definitely could have it. I feel really insecure in this relationship. It's hard for me to trust her after everything that's happened, but I feel like I can't leave now because she would villainize me for leaving, especially if I told her that I looked through her phone. What's worse is I really do love her. I care so much about her. I clean for her, cook for her, drive her wherever she wants, take care of her dogs, and do her college assignments. How could she still miss him? I'm just sad and need advice on what the next step I take should be. Okay, so we'll back to the main story. Here's the update 2. We have been dating for around 7 months now. You can check my post history for a more in-depth backstory, but basically she still has feelings for her ex, Tony. Now, to my knowledge, she hasn't done anything or talked to him in at least 2 months. Last week, someone mentioned him to her at work, and she got really sad. When I asked her what was wrong, she basically told me that she felt unwanted and that nobody loved her, even though I told her how beautiful she is and how much I love her every day. She says it's more the fact that she doesn't like the idea that someone would forget about her so easily. I hug her and tell her everything's gonna be okay. Fast forward to last night. She starts getting sad again, and I tell her to be honest and just tell me what's going on. She says that she still misses and has feelings for Tony, and how even though she loves me and wants to marry me, she gets sad because she feels unwanted. She told me she wrote up a text to him looking for closure, but apparently decided not to send it because he might not respond. I told her that she can always talk to me about these things and that I would help her through this. I asked if she needed space, and she said no, that's the last thing she wants. She wants me to be with her while she works through this. I'm feeling really conflicted. I love this girl, but it's so painful to me that after all the time and love I've given her, she's still sad because of her ex. It just hurts knowing that nothing I do will be enough. I feel like I'm pouring my heart into her, but it's just leaking out, if that makes sense. I don't want to leave her, but I feel so empty and sad. Is it really worth working through things with her, even though it hurts me? How do I approach this situation without disrespecting her feelings? Update 3, about 10 days after last update. After the last post, she asked me if we could take a week apart to figure things out. I asked her if we were breaking up, and she said no, just taking a break and giving each other some space so we can think clearly. Now, in the past, taking breaks has never worked in my previous relationships. But hey, I thought maybe this time she'd see the wrongs of her ways and come back to me more in love than ever. So a day goes by, and we're on our break not really talking. Then all of a sudden, late at night, she asks me if she can come over that night. I ask her why, since we're on a break. She says she misses me. This is at like 1 a.m., so I'm sleepy and confused. Okay, I say. I let her come over, and she spends the night. Next day, she asks to come over again. I say sure, and she does. At this point, I start getting suspicious for a couple reasons. 1. Her pubic regions were recently shaved, and she has very rarely ever done that with me, and we hadn't even done anything together in like a couple weeks. I asked her, and she just said, yeah, she shaved after work. 2. She was wearing a bracelet, which I had never seen before. I asked her about it, and she didn't even respond. So now I'm thinking something's up, but maybe it's just my insecurities. Oh well, I'll sleep it off. Next day, today, we go to work. We work in the same building. She sometimes leaves her phone in the car, and she did so this morning. Now this is where I will admit I am in the wrong, but when I was on my break, I went out to our car and looked in her phone. I saw so many messages to her ex, Tony, saying how she wanted him. Those nights she came over to my house late, she was spending the evening with him earlier. She sent him nudes of herself that I took of her. The night before, when I dropped her off at home, I saw she texted him 30 minutes later telling him to come over. I felt sick to my stomach and my heart was racing. I put the phone down, messaged her on Facebook to never talk to me again, and blocked her on everything, even her number. She then found me in my office and very loudly asked me what was going on in front of my coworkers. I told her we could go outside and talk, and we did. I told her that I saw everything on her phone. She yelled at me, called me crazy, and said, "I can't be with someone so insecure as you," and then stormed off. I avoided her for the rest of the day. Later, at the end of the workday, she came by again, this time smiling and pouting, very softly asking me if we could talk. I said whatever, and we went outside again. First thing she did was threaten to get the police involved because I looked through her phone without permission, which she said was a form of breaking and entering. I kinda laughed and said, "Go right ahead if that's what you want." Then she started tearing up and saying, "Why would you do that?" And I asked why she'd send nudes to Tony. She said it was for validation. I asked why she would even be with me if she felt that way about him. She said that she loved me and wanted to marry me and have kids with me. I asked if they had done anything. She said no, but part of me knows she's lying. Anyways, as I'm sitting there, listening to all this, a part of me wants to just hug her and hold her and tell her we're gonna work through this together. But then I realized that the girl I loved was never real. I just loved the idea of her. That this girl sitting in front of me with her fake tears and apologies was just going to lie again. That if I got back with her, it would just enable her further. So at the end of the conversation, when she asked, "Are we really done forever? We can't just work through this?" I told her no, and that I was never going to see her or speak to her again. To which she just stood up, said, "If you say so, have a nice life," and slowly walked away. I don't know what to feel right now. Why do I feel like I made a mistake? Why do I still want to unblock her and call her and tell her that I love her? I know she's not for me. Everyone at work tells me she's not for me. My family dislikes her. IDK. Is there something wrong with me? Why does a part of me feel like I could forgive her for all that? If I believed that they didn't have intimacy, I could look past it as just her making a mistake. I'm just so confused. Edit. So after I got home from work, literally 10 minutes later, my doorbell rings and it's her. I ignored it, but then 20 minutes later, she's still ringing it. So I open the door and she's crying, begging for me back, telling me she'll do anything I ask her to do to make this work, that she loves me and only me and wants to marry me and have kids with me and move far away with me. I asked her if all that was true, why she'd do any of those things she did. She just cried and said she didn't know, that she's stupid and was looking for validation, that she has abandonment issues from her childhood. Anyways, after we talked, I basically just stood my ground and told her there's no chance of making this work anymore and sent her home. She asked me to unblock her in case of emergency, and I only agreed for the next week or so while this settles down. I'm reading all your comments now. This is all just so crazy to me. How could this girl do this? I can't even fathom talking to someone else while in a relationship, let alone cheating. Edit 2. Okay, so I blocked her again, per y'all's recommendation, but before I did, she had already sent me a few texts. Was I wrong to assume we were getting back together? I mean, we were fine yesterday and last night. If you don't want to be with me anymore, fine. I'll accept that and leave you alone. I have a feeling she'll be showing up at my front door again later. I just hope I have the strength to not open it. Edit 3. Well, she just left my house. I opened the door after she started knocking again, but I just walked outside and didn't let her in. I asked why she was here. She asked me, "Why am I the only one being held accountable here? Why aren't you holding yourself accountable for breaking into my phone and invading my privacy?" To which I just said, "I fully know and accept what I did was wrong, and I apologize. But that does not lessen what you did in any way." She then said, "If you don't hear from me again, it's probably because I'm thinking of ending myself. Goodbye." And then she got in her car and drove away. What exactly should I do now? Is she just bluffing, so I'll call her to make sure she's all right? If God forbid something did happen, would it be my fault? Edit 4. This will probably be the last update for a while. Somehow, she managed to message me through Instagram and sent me this. "Dear, I hope you never give up on us. I'm trying my best to be better. Wait for me. I love you so much it hurts to think I might lose you in the long run. Is she just trying to make me feel bad about all this? Because truthfully, it's starting to get to me.